Coming to the ring right now, ladies and gentlemen, out of Mound, Minnesota, at 218 pounds, he is the great Gagne.
What's up, everybody? This is Dominic D'Angelo of OneTrueSportTV.com and FullHorsemanNetwork.com. And I'm happy to be here again today with none other than Greg Gagne, the facilitator, I call him. But we facilitator. But we also have the boss, Magnum.
The boss.
Magnum, how are you today?
I've had a busier than normal week. Greg has just had so many things for me to do. My to-do list is through the roof.
Now, is this all Powertown related stuff?
No, I got to get his laundry done and
okay, yeah.
Schedule. Make sure Laura's set up for hair and makeup and get the new go-go boots heading over there and all that. I mean, I got a lot of things I do. I'm his assistant.
Well, man, yeah, you're spinning a lot of plates then.
Yeah.
Hey, is it cold down there in Charlotte?
No, it's 70-some degrees.
Oh my God.
I'm jealous.
We're up in the 50s here, but the wind is blowing like 45 miles an hour and it's cold. It's cold.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It is. I believe it's 50 in Pittsburgh right now. I believe it is.
I'm looking out the window at the ice on the lake and it's gray and these dumbbells are still driving their cars out there. Waiting for one to go through.
Oh my gosh. Nuts.
If I see one go through, I'll let everybody know today.
Holy smokes. Jeez. Well, hey, we got to wish a happy belated birthday to the late Vern Gagne, your father. Turned 99. He would have been 99.
February 26th.
How about that?
I think him and Ric Flair, I think, are the same birthday.
Oh, so it's February 26th.
Yeah, Rick had a birthday too. Yeah, he turned 76.
Man.
Yeah, I called him, left him a couple messages, but I don't hear back from him.
No?
No, I don't know.
Partying down.
He responded to me, but he has some kind of little symbol he sent for you here. I can't quite figure out what it is.
Is it 2 middle fingers?
No, it's some kind of like gibberish. I don't know what it is.
I got the message. Loud and clear.
Well, happy birthday to Rick and happy birthday to Vern. That's pretty cool. What two heavy hitters in pro wrestling of all time.
Here's one for you, too. And I got my butt chewed out the other day for it. February 26th, 4 years ago, I met Laura.
Wow, really?
Supposedly that was our anniversary, and I didn't say happy anniversary.
Oh, well, yeah.
I've been hearing about it all week.
Well, happy anniversary to you and Laura.
We'll see.
Belated anniversary.
We'll see how long it goes.
Wow. Well, so Charlie adds that Ric Flair's birthday is February 26th, and his son Reed would have been February 26th, or February 25th for Rick, February 26th for Reed. So there we go. Well, guys, what did I want to start off with? I guess we could talk about a little bit of what's happening this weekend. We're going to get this big confrontation between Cody Rhodes and The Rock. The Rock saying that he was going to take his soul at WrestleMania. He said that on SmackDown. He's going to take his soul.
Yeah, let's talk about that whole segment. That was
right.
That was bizarre.
Yeah, give us some thoughts, Magnum.
Well, everybody had seen, or most people had seen him and Cody interact, on the inaugural, Netflix program, and so many nice words exchanged between them, and respect for what Cody's done, carrying his load for the business this past year, and all those kind of things. And so he was in and out of a like a heel character-ish deal, and it was kind of twisted. So I'm not sure exactly where they're going. I'm sure they got some grand idea, and it may not have anything to do with leading to a match. It might just be a mind game, thing. But it was very hard to wrap your head around. And I did like what he said to Seth when Seth was giving him such a hard time about the whole thing. And Yeah, I'm pretty sure he knows that you may have already made a commitment. Yeah, it might not be available. So it's a weird twist. So hopefully they've got something good to follow it up. I mean, I'm a mark for it. I want to see what it is, but I really hope it's worth as hard as I've had to think about it, because I really don't have a clue where they're going with it.
Do you think maybe what they've been promoting with WrestleMania isn't getting the reaction they wanted, and maybe they're trying to stir it up, and maybe you have to go in a little different direction with it?
Yeah, Megan, what do you think about that?
I don't have a clue what they're. I mean, it's got to be, not as hyped. It can't be the fanfare they had last year. I mean, Cody had just come, the underdog of all underdogs, fighting back against every odd and everything. I mean, it was the perfect setup. I mean, it's going to be, no matter what they did or what they do with the current players that they've got, to recreate what they had a year ago is practically impossible. So it's going to have to be something solid and marketable and for something that speaks to the magnitude of the event. But I don't know what kind of intrigue they can muster up besides this mysticism. I want to take your soul, so you're dedicated to me for life, so that I can take you to the next ethereal plane. I mean, you would think he'd had a little too much of that daggone
Tequila
and maybe some wacky weed with it. But like I said, I'm open minded. I'll wait and see. But it's clear as mud to me at the moment what they're hoping to do with that to generate the viewership.
So the reports were that WWE basically had like maybe a day or so's notice that The Rock was showing up. When they made that announcement, like that he was going to be on SmackDown, it was like pretty sudden. So they had to kind of pivot and maybe make a little bit of adjustments. And The Rock does take over and kind of, did this whole segment. I do honestly think just The Rock being there, and I think the fact that the story still had a lot of loose ends from what we saw at the end of WrestleMania last year, that like it was appropriate for The Rock to come back in some form or fashion and have him be in the mix, because it does make this WrestleMania story feel like a bigger deal. And I'm all for it, what it is. I thought the segment too. I really like the segment. I think the aspect that The Rock, he just adds another level of entertainment to things, where it's just like,
100%.
Yeah, where I'm laughing out loud hearing what he's saying, and that doesn't happen too often in wrestling for me. Like where I'm so entertained, I'm laughing about it all, and like so him disparaging.
You think he's going to come back and get in the ring?
See, would
they go with a triple threat match? You think?
It's so tough, because afterwards he did an out of character press conference where he said that he doesn't think that him and Cody need to have a match, which doesn't make sense from a wrestling standpoint if you're going to position it.
But from a business standpoint, it does, because anything short of him putting Cody over, which, is not good for business, because it's not good for what they built in him, what they're doing in marketing and everything else. And and they certainly could do that. I mean, he's fit and in good enough shape, but they could go out there and do that, and that may be the ultimate spin. I mean, I like that heel that he portrayed last year going in. He leaned in on that so hard. He put on a clinic of what it means to be a heel,
right,
and give the babyface something to have to overcome and an obstacle. I was watching Al Snow's show that was on something. He's got some kind of podcast, not podcast, but like a
YouTube
documentary.
thing, right?
That show is on Netflix or something, and showing the training. But he was talking about psychology, and same thing. Greg always goes back to, and you can't get away from it. People have got to have someone that's that catalyst. They think throwing the stumbling block in your way. I mean, Rock could just be the dastardly guy in the office. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to have an actual match. He could cause enough mayhem by him not, pledging allegiance to the Rock, and that in and of itself could be intriguing and open the door for the Rock to bring people in to do his bidding, and undo him that way. I mean, that formula obviously worked great years ago with McMahon and Stone Cold, and it could be a complete reboot, different version of it with a legend. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, so I think him throwing out the notion that he wants his soul, I think somebody will happen to sell their soul to the Rock at some point here. And I think kind of turn heel or be his, if he's not wrestling, he's going to have somebody kind of wrestle in his name in certain ways. Do you think I'll ask both of you guys this. Do you think it should be Cody or should it be somebody else that's potentially in the chamber that we have? Because there's like names we got in there. John Cena's obviously a big name. We got CM Punk. We got Drew McIntyre. Seth Rollins is in the mix. Jamie and Priest is the other one too. And Logan Paul. Is there somebody that should sell their soul to the Rock, or who would be the appropriate person to sell their soul to the Rock to make an intriguing story? I think you could do it several ways, but what do you guys think is top for you? Greg, let's start with you on that.
Logan Paul would be very interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it really would. I mean, he's got a lot of heat. He's got all those followers following him in his Instagram and all that. He's got a great personality.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as far as wrestling goes,
right.
I don't know outside the ring what he's like, but I'm sure a lot of it is the same. And he just takes that attitude into the ring with him, and the cocky, arrogant guy he is. But when he locks up, for as short a time as he's been in, he is very entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
And very solid.
Man, his exchange.
That would really be, I don't know how they would work that into the deal, if they would. I mean, they're throwing a few curveballs in here right now. They get everybody guessing. They got us guessing. And that's good for business.
Or you could take a guy like The Miz who can work, who can talk, who can do it all. And they're portraying to be like, struggling and kind of off his game and can't get back on the right step. And The Rock, getting ticked off at Cody's lack of it. And then they say, well, I'll just show you what power can do, and let him, just pour the juice on The Miz and turn his whole thing back around. And The Miz, can work, and give him a rejuvenation, because it's the main guys. It wouldn't make sense. It's got to be somebody that's looking to get a leg up, that feels like they're not quite on the step or on the level they want to be on right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like, oh yeah, man, I get that rub from The Rock, and the moon and the stars are all possible. So yeah, I mean, it could be a lot of things. Brock Lesnar, he can pop back up out of the monster. But if Brock ever comes back, which I don't know whether he will or won't, I love that babyface character.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that personality that he's able to show, like that, to me is priceless.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a hoot. I had no idea I've always looked at him kind of stoic and kind of a grump, and because of the way he presented himself on camera. But man, he's got personality plus if he wants to.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting because you also think about like the element CM Punk has is he has a favor from Paul Heyman still waiting in the wings. So what is that exactly going to be too? I think, Logan Paul would be an interesting one to line with The Rock. I could definitely see, I mean, I don't think it's going to happen, but I could see CM Punk lining with it because they have two such different high personalities that and then The Rock is becoming pretty well known for being, all around. So he's out of wrestling and he's in wrestling. He blurs the lines very well, is what I'm trying to say. And so does CM Punk. So if you guys get those two chaotic elements together and have them just be like this top heel kind of like tandem in certain ways, that could create a lot of fun for WWE programming moving forward. And a lot of unpredictability. What we're doing right now is trying to guess what's happening.
Right.
Yeah.
Keep it unpredictable. Keep the people guessing.
Yeah, there's nothing obvious about it.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Well, they got a lot of great talent there, and they can go in a lot of different ways with it. It'll be interesting what comes out of this next big pay-per-view, the chamber match.
Yes.
You got all those personalities. Is Cena going to come out?
Yeah. What's your prediction? So we got, I'll read the lineup now. So we got John Cena, we got CM Punk, we got Logan Paul, we got Drew McIntyre, we have Damian Priest, and then Seth Rollins.
And they're all in the one chamber together?
They're all in the one chamber match. And so whoever wins gets their title shot at Cody Rhodes. So we'll start with that one. Magnum, if you had to make a prediction for this weekend, this Saturday, who will win the men's elimination chamber?
I mean, you're talking about for the men?
For the men's, yep, for the men.
I mean, I don't think they can have it and not have Cena win it after, after he didn't win the Rumble, and he's on his tour out. This is the last year of the deal. I mean, you can't create that story without having him in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you. I think Cena would be my pick too. I think that packs such a headline kind of match. Cody versus Cena. That's a good WrestleMania match right there. It's like something we wouldn't have maybe fathomed to see, but we might see it. Greg, do you think Cena, or do you think another route would be?
God, I want to believe Cena, but I think they're going to throw a curveball here.
Okay.
And which one coming out of there? God, Logan Paul and CM Punk to me kind of throws everything out of what everybody is predicting.
Yeah.
And that surprise usually will generate more ticket buying.
Sure.
Than the predictable. And the predictable to me is John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, they've got me. I can't figure it out. And I usually come up with what I think is going to be the winner of the thing. But they got such great talent in that one chamber. Holy God.
It's heavy. It's big time. It's big name. It's stacked, Yeah.
Hey, what do you think? I mean, you think, you said Cena, but is that too obvious?
It's the money match. I mean, it's the marquee match. Everybody else there is they'd all be great. There's nobody in there that couldn't have a unbelievable match, but the the once in a lifetime opportunity, you're never going to have that opportunity again.
Yeah.
Cena's last WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
I think too, I would love to see like a Cody and CM Punk one. I think too. I think you could definitely make a lot of money off of that. But like, I think in this case, Cena almost supersedes the predictability-ness of it all. Like, even if it is predictable and he does win, like he's the surefire bet, I think like, wow, it's still John Cena, and it's still what's going to happen here with The Rock involved with all this too, because you got to think Cody will give his response. Then we're going to see what happens, the aftermath of all of this. And if Cena's in the mix too, you got The Rock, you got Cena, and then you got Cody Rhodes too. So you could definitely do something there. Yeah, if I had to guess too, I think my prediction has been Cena too as well. So
okay,
but I think too,
anybody coming out of there,
you really can't go wrong in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think like somebody like a Damian Priest might not be there quite yet.
No, not quite.
But if he were the one to sell his soul to The Rock in certain ways or something like that, you could maybe build something that way. But
how about McIntyre?
McIntyre would be good too. But I don't think McIntyre needs The Rock in certain ways. I think he's doing his own thing, which I think is great in itself.
Okay.
So I don't know.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Just tossing out there. That's it. That's what we're here for. If you guys have some questions, get them in. I see a couple already being asked, but whether that pertains to the chamber or pertains to anything else. I'm seeing we get some historic ones in here, so that's always good. Okay, the women's. Let me take a look at who is on the women's card of things. We have Roxanne Perez. We have Bianca Belair. We have Naomi. We have, oh my gosh, who else am I missing? Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss. I think I covered everybody in that now. Let me make sure, though. I'm going to pull up Elimination Chamber and see what we got. Boom. Looking at it right now. Elimination Chamber. We have, oh my gosh, it's taking me forever to find this. I'm seeing all the advertisements for it.
You'd think Charlotte's got to come out of that thing.
Well, Charlotte's not in she's the champ. So she won't be in the match. Oh, Bailey's the other one. So we have, okay, so this is the women's match, guys. It's Roxanne Perez, it's Bailey, it's Naomi, it's Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, and Bianca Belair. So those are you. Who's in?
I would think Bianca. I tell you what, she just gets better every week.
Yeah, she's great.
She's a phenomenal athlete.
Yes.
I watched her last week and her match. It was phenomenal. And the strength that gal has. Mm-hmm. And she's cut down a little bit. You see her abs now. I mean, she looks fantastic.
Yeah.
She moves great in the ring. She always has great matches. I'm a big fan of hers.
Me too, big time. Magnum, who do you think? Is there somebody that sticks out to you for Rhea Ripley? Maybe go against?
Yeah, Alexa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I think somehow she's going to emerge the one to resurrect that band of misfits that and because I mean that's the way she's dressing, persona and everything, and she could carry leading that band of people first of all, and she's been an outstanding women's champion before. She could have the kind of match for Ripley that you would believe that because her work level is that good, and especially if there was some twisted tale of her association with the Wyatts being expounded upon, because they've just kind of been in limbo. Mm-hmm. I mean, we saw that one little burst of them on that one show where they had the 8-man or they had some kind of match. It was actually good.
Yeah.
And that was back before they got rid of who's the big guys that they've got.
AOP and Paul Ellering. AOP and Paul Ellering.
They were all in that match together.
Yeah,
that's a crying shame because those guys were just not in the right place at the right time because they are monsters.
Yeah,
and can work.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I thought Paul did a great job managing them. So
he did.
I have a hard time wrapping my head around from a creative perspective, they just couldn't figure out what to do with all that. But maybe they're looking at demographics and who likes what, and they're measuring off all kind of other metrics that I can't see. But you don't see guys that big, athletic, that can move like that and go like that, and could have been the Road Warriors 2.0 almost.
Yeah. They're I think that total package of them with Ellering, what they're like, Ellering as their mouthpiece was awesome, and I just don't know why he was not used to speak on behalf of these guys and throughout that whole thing, because it would have enhanced them so much more, I think. But Alexa, I think, is a very interesting and could definitely be a great pivot, almost like an unexpected pivot, because if she's going up against Rhea, that creates some fun stuff that you can do with the Wyatt Six as well. Maybe
that's all I was thinking. It's a twist because you've seen all the other mixes and matches of most of them, except for the one girl, the one new girl that's in there, and they're constantly wanting to give it a fresh look, do something a little different spin. Talking about spin, did you see the Sports Illustrated ranking of the 10 best women of all time?
Yes, I did.
I didn't see that.
You didn't see that?
No.
All right, I'm pulling up. I'll pull up the list right now here, and we can look at some of this. Sports Illustrated. Okay, Greg, if you had to take a guess, who do you think is the number one? Now, this is from a WWE standpoint too. I'll say that.
It's what?
It's from a WWE standpoint.
Okay, WWE. Okay.
WWE women's wrestlers. So if you had to guess who is number one, Sports Illustrated ranked as number one, who would it be?
Oh, it's Charlotte Flair.
Okay. And Magnum, you know who it is, right?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay. So number one, you're close, Greg. Charlotte is number two, but number one is Becky Lynch. Is the number one women's wrestler. That's Sports Illustrated ranked. Yes. So I was kind of surprised. I love Becky Lynch.
I do too.
If I had to maybe pick like a favorite persona or identity, I think Becky would be it. But I mean, I would have thought Charlotte Flair might have been number one.
Yeah, I thought so too, for sure. But Becky was, she's been away for a while, and prior to that, when she was there, she was hot. I mean, she was hot. She was the number one gal. Thinking of the best of all time, though, God Almighty.
All time would be really tough because you're factoring in everybody in different.
Yeah, because that's what they're saying. They're saying the best of all time is what they're saying.
Top in WWE. In WWE.
Yeah, in WWE, because they had Trish Stratus up there on the top and Lita on the top. And I mean, if you think back the matches that Becky and Charlotte had, that last woman standing match.
Oh yeah,
they had was absolutely, amazing. And I mean, I can see. I think if Charlotte hadn't had the misfortune of having a few of the injuries that's put her, put her out for extended periods of time twice, in her career, that might have been looked at a little bit differently, personally.
Yeah.
But I'm a big fan of Becky's too.
Oh, I am too. But when you put the best of all time, to me, that's who's the most prolific in the ring, and Becky is very, very good. But Charlotte, to me, brings more to the match than Becky did.
Well, she's got more in her toolbox. And
yeah.
she got the interview, the persona, the carrying it in and out of the ring, and the athleticism, can do all the the flips and the aerobatic things, but knows how to tell the story and work the match and do the approach that draws people in to that narrative. Yeah. I mean, I think just what she's done since she's come back.
Yeah.
Ad-libbing with the people.
Oh,
where she goes out there and they've written her out there as a baby face in the field and the people like turned on her and she just worked it. She just improvised.
Yeah, she did.
Live on the cuff and did it appropriately, and it was really good because it's John Cena went through that. Everybody that's been on top for a long period of time is going to go through a point where people, whether they appreciate your performance or not, somebody's going to get sick of you.
Right.
Like, it's you again.
Right.
Well, it's me again because I keep winning these Academy Awards for these performances. That's why. Give me some more cast to work with.
It was interesting because when she made her first appearance, the people just roared for her.
Right.
2 weeks later, they hate her.
Oh, it was the next day, wasn't it?
Next day.
Won the Rumble. Yeah. She won the Rumble and then
different city, different part of the country.
Yeah. Where did Tiffany end up in that? She didn't quite make that list yet, did she?
No. Not yet. She's not. I think when the dust settles, she certainly has a chance to because
she's doing well. She's coming along.
Also on that list, we mentioned here, we had Trish Stratus here at number 3. We had Lita at number 4. Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks at number 5. Bailey at number 6. And then we had Chyna at number 7. I thought that was a good ad. And then Asuka at 8. 9 was Bianca Belair. And closing it out was Medusa, Alundra Blaze.
Well, that was really cool that they, had somebody that kind of was a trailblazer. And,
right.
And Asuka is one of the best workers has ever been in the women's business. I mean, my gosh. I mean, she's so good. It's just ridiculous.
Mhm.
He just has the language limitation that doesn't allow her to be quite the orator that the other girls can be, but she still does a really good job. Even in her own stylization.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the thing too, is like you think about some of the names that weren't on that list, and holy smokes, the potential that they have to be on that list moving forward, like a Rhea Ripley, or
Yeah.
like you mentioned it, like there's plenty of them that's still on, like a Jordan Grace up and coming. Heck, if Tessa comes over there, you just never know. It's just like there's a lot of possibilities to have happen on that list, and for it to fluctuate or change. So
Well, and speaking of that, I absolutely love the way they're bouncing the NXT in and out of TNA.
yeah.
That is just such a cool vibe going on, and good neat interaction with the men and the women. I mean,
Mhm.
on both sides of it, and I just think it's just good for content, good for trying to for TNA that's really all they're missing is being on a better platform.
Mhm.
That is it. I mean, and not that streaming is not highly important. I mean that TNA Plus is a great platform to watch from, but if they were on that along with a TNT or some established network along with, I feel like their stock would just go shoo, go right along beside. They'd be the little train just following NXT up that mountain. You
Yeah.
know,
I
because
just can't. I
again,
still can't get TNA.
You don't. Oh, I know it's on the TNA Plus. It's a tough. I need to start getting in and tuning into it because I constantly hear how well polished that product is, and it's always. I always thought, like, since I've been covering it for a couple of years, that it's been a well polished product since like 2018 ish. I think they've done a pretty. Well, no, maybe later on a little bit, to be honest. Maybe like 2022. I think it started really being really good. And but now it's just like that, like what you mentioned, Magnum, interchanging it and making that all kind of cohesive bond with NXT has been so much fun. And yeah, well, now we're getting the Hardy Boys in the mix. We got Moose showing up. Jordan Grace is officially with NXT. So some really, really fun, neat elements coming into it. So
Somebody trying to come out through your window there, TA?
getting some updates.
Somebody breaking in?
no, my son's. I'm troubleshooting here.
Oh, no worries. If you need to
That's
take a
okay.
breather, you can.
I saw those looks. I figured it was something with the family.
Other business matters at hand.
Well, your dad, teenagers, you got to be able to pivot.
Yep.
And
That's it.
You don't need to say anymore.
That's it. That's it. Also, we have on the Elimination Chamber card is Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens in a unsanctioned match. Yeah, obviously, Sammy's the big time baby face. Kevin Owens is a big time heel right now. Greg, did you have a prediction on who might win this one here?
Well, I'm sure it'll be Sammy, but Kevin's, God, he is so good.
He's really good.
He got so much heat on him, and I don't know if Sammy wins that thing, if it's going to take the heat off of Kevin, unless something.
He just dropped him on his head again afterwards. I mean, he didn't care.
No.
Unless something happens after the match.
Well, it's non-sanctioned. It doesn't matter what they do. They don't have any rules.
No rules.
All right.
No.
Then I can't figure the fucking thing out. How about that?
Yeah, we just get to go along for the ride.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. So what? So you think Sammy wins then, Greg, or you think it's something else then?
Oh God. I think Sammy's going to win the match, but I hope Kevin does.
Okay.
Okay.
Megan, what do you think?
I think Kevin wins the match because he did the favor for Cody, and just my thought. That would be the bounce back from. Getting Alabama slammed through a daggone ladder, and you almost looked like you were decapitated.
Oh gosh.
but he's carrying great heat. I mean, they can do whatever they want. I wouldn't be so much worried about the match is what they're going to do next.
Yeah.
Because it's like, they're this weird juncture with the whole thing.
Mhm.
So you got to, hug and make up, or somebody's got to go to the hospital.
Right. No, I think Kevin wins, but I do think they perpetuate this further. I think it's going to be unsettled in some form or fashion. There's reports that Randy Orton is reported to come back before WrestleMania, so obviously he has unfinished business with Kevin. So maybe something comes into play there, and maybe to what Greg you're saying is maybe Sammy gets the win in that fashion. They move on from that, but
if Orton came in and helped Sammy win the match, I could see that.
I could see that too, but I would also really, really like to see them have a WrestleMania match, the one-on-one, Sammy and Kevin Owens, because they have such a storied rivalry with one another. I think you could make that a lot of fun. But where does Orton come into play at that one too? Would be the big question. So, interesting. And then, hey, we got one more match. It is the aforementioned Tiffany Stratton teaming up with Trish Stratus against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. So a little fun tag match there. Trish Stratus, they're in Toronto, so that's her home city. Magnum, you predict anything wild with this one?
I'll just say Trish to me is like her work and her presence in the ring, and maybe it's because they're giving her more respect at this juncture in her career. I mean, she's really showing, she's still got a lot left in the tank.
Yeah, she does.
I mean, she's gone right in there, heads up against Godzilla and not back down and do a handstand and hook her with your feet and flip her and fly her all around. And, I mean, no telling. They can do whatever they want with it. They could have a Pier Sixer and take that one back to WrestleMania because, I think that's a good combo.
Yeah.
I think that's really good for Tiffy time because she needs, the people really haven't known how to take her.
Yes.
Even though a lot of people chant for her and everything else, she acts like a heel, talks like a heel, but fights against people that they hate worse. So it's a good rub with her and Stratus. So we'll see what they do with it.
Greg, do you think there's going to be tension between Trish and Tiffy? What do you think? You being the expert on Tiffany.
Well, I was just thinking about that. I think they're going to win the match.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. After that, I think something could happen.
Yeah.
I think maybe it depends what they want to do with Tiffany. She's a funny personality. She comes across as such an arrogant little shit, but the people are liking it.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
That's it. The thing is,
does she turn on Trish after the match? Or are the people so into her that they don't want to take that chance of destroying that?
Well, you don't want to mess up WrestleMania.
I mean, you don't want to screw that up.
That's to be a babyface going into WrestleMania with Charlotte.
Yeah. With Charlotte, yeah. Mm-hmm. Boy, that's
right.
I would like to see a little tension, though. I think you could tease something and have some fun with Tiffany and Trish.
Well, either that or Trish will help get her over more.
Yeah, either way, I think it's going to
by her being with her.
Yeah,
and they win the match. It's going to help her elevate her a little bit more for the match with Charlotte.
Yeah, I think Tiffany and Trish winning straight up, I think is the way that they're going to go with it. I think Candice LeRae can take the pin, I'm sure. Cool. Well, let's take some fan questions. We got some interesting ones in here that Charlie threw out there. Both non-wrestling questions for you guys. You each get one too. It's a different one for each of you. So Charlie has this one for you, Magnum. Magnum, a non-wrestling question. Sometime back, you made mention of being at Norfolk Scope back in the 1980s and thinking about Elvis performing live. Did you happen to see Elvis at the Scope? He also mentioned maybe a different venue too that you.
Yeah, I saw Elvis in the 70s twice. I saw him in Norfolk Scope, and then I saw him a year or so later in Hampton Roads Coliseum, right across the water. And so I saw him when he was lean and mean and still in the the karate jumpsuit and looked like he could kick your butt. And then I saw him when I thought it was a rib, and he would, he's like 250 pounds, and I thought he was going to pull like a, pillow out of his suit, like it was going to be a rib or something. But he performed amazing, both times that I saw him, and his electricity and showmanship was, second to none. But it was very cool to perform in, buildings where you'd watch somebody like him perform and sell out, and because of the way we set the building up for wrestling, Flair and I actually broke their attendance record. We put more people in the building than Elvis did, but we had more seats. So he was capacity, but we just had more seats in our capacity. So we took the record from the King, but it was he was one in a gajillion, man. I've never seen anybody as electric on stage as him.
I know he's great. I never appreciated him till later on, when I got older and stuff like that. Man, Elvis is great. Did you hear the story or the rumor? I haven't researched it too much, but that Jerry Lawler was trying to get Elvis involved with Memphis, like wrestling in a match or something like that. Did either of you hear anything regarding that?
No.
I heard he used to come in.
He loved wrestling.
He used to cut. Yeah, he would sneak in and watch it from the back. When he was in town when they were doing it, he was a big fan of it. So, Lawler was always thinking outside the box. Nothing would surprise me. What he would have thought of to do, with him. But just crazy charisma.
Well, without a doubt. I had a chance in Vegas to see him. And I was invited by one of his bodyguards, Red, that he wanted to meet me afterwards.
Oh, really?
It was one of his return shows, and he went about a half hour over he was supposed to go, and we were right first row, first two seats. Gal I was dating, and it was unbelievable. And the electricity in that place. He had the people for 2.5 hours standing.
Whoa!
And then went back afterwards, and he said, "Elvis apologized. He's out of gas." I said, "No problem. Just say hello." And I'm a big fan of his.
That's awesome, though. How about that?
Yeah,
man.
So he knew we were in Vegas, and I wanted to go, and one of the guys said, "Here, I got 2 tickets for you," and they were first 2 seats in the right up front on the stage.
All right.
Yeah, it was spectacular.
Man. Hey, Greg Gagne, big fan.
Fan. Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, you know who Elvis idolized, Greg?
Who he idolized?
Yes.
In wrestling?
No, just overall.
Okay. I think Frank Sinatra.
Close. Dean Martin.
Dean Martin. Okay.
Dean Martin. He loved Dean Martin. And Magnum, if you don't know, I have Dean Martin tattooed on my arm. But Greg and I talked about Dean Martin before through text and stuff like that. And but yeah, he called Dean Martin. He's like, I may be the king. He was telling his daughter this, Dean Martin's daughter. He's like, I may be the king, but your dad's the king of cool. And so always been a big fan of Elvis after that. So but that's awesome. Oh man, I like you talk about some pro wrestling presentation. Elvis had it, that's for sure.
Oh man, he had so much charisma and that voice. We were driving in the car yesterday, and I had Elvis on, and Laura says, "My God, you know what? His voice is just unbelievable." She said, "There's nobody," and she's not a real big fan of rock and roll and that, but she said, "Just classic." And he says, "There's nobody better than him."
Nobody.
And there wasn't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just a presence.
He had the whole package.
Absolutely. All right, Greg, here's the non-wrestling question for you from Charlie. Greg, non-wrestling question for you as well. You mentioned needing back surgery. Are they doing a fusion? I had 7 surgeries, finally a fusion in 2002, my whole adult life. Yeah, so you got some back stuff.
What was her name?
Well, this is Charlie here.
Charlie?
Yeah,
Charlie, I'm going for number 6. On March 24th.
Man.
And I'm really nervous about this one.
Hmm.
They got to go redo everything they've done. Plus, they're going to do the tailbone. And it's 4-hour surgery. And I know Magnum's been in a 6-hour one. But, like my doctor said, now, how many surgeries you had? I said, 5. He said, how do they work for you? And I said, well, it's about every year I have to go back and have something redone.
Oh.
He says, then why would you do another one?
Yeah.
And I said, well, because my left leg is limping. I'm having a tough time with it. Cramps up all the time. It's shrinking. I can't work out. I said, so I just filled out a bunch of paperwork just before we went on. Well, I feel for you, Charlie. I know what they're like, and it's no fun. But you know what? We'll just keep moving forward, and we'll make it through it.
Amen to that. Amen to that. I'll keep you in my prayers, Greg, and same with you, Charlie, too, and Magnum.
Amen.
Why not everybody? All right. Here's an interesting one, too. We got from Mr. Jayo. Thierry Gagne. Why is Dynamite Kid overlooked when discussing best in-ring talent ever? Bret Hart said he was better than himself. Greg, do you have any insight or thought about Dynamite Kid? Did you ever cross paths with him?
I never did. I watched him quite a few times.
Mm-hmm.
He's very talented in the ring. As was Bret. I mean, they're all trained under the same umbrella, and the people that come out of Stu Hart, Vern Gagne camp, the Joe Blanchard, the Eddie Graham,
Mm-hmm.
The people that came out of those camps and the Stu Harts, most of those people were very, very talented in the ring. And I think to say that he was better than this guy or that guy, you got to put all those great ones just in a box together.
Oh, sure.
I mean, you really do. I can't really say, you could say, well, Hulk Hogan. Well, Hulk drew probably more money than anybody ever did.
Mm-hmm.
He came at the right time. But if you're going by how they are in the ring, there's a group that were trained by those people that I mentioned. Bill Watts was another great trainer.
Right.
I left him out. But the people that came out of those camps were all really solid and great performers. I can't say who was better than who.
Sure. Yeah, no.
Absolutely. Can you TA?
Yeah, Magnum. Can you, or did you have anything cross paths with Dynamite ever?
No.
No. Okay. I didn't think so. Yeah. No.
Anything else? Anything else, TA?
Nope.
Nope.
Just double checking.
No, it is a good crop of talent, though.
Well, the TA too. I mean, in his prime when he was going, I mean, there was a group of people in that era that were so good. When you get the guys that started in the 50s, the Luthez and the Verns and those guys telling you how good these people are that are performing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say who was the best.
It's such a subjective thing to kind of think about.
It is.
Ways, and no, Bret, I do remember Bret really crediting Dynamite Kid and seeing how talented he was. But I think partially that we don't talk about Dynamite enough is he was talented, but his term in the ring in comparison to other talents was kind of short-lived, obviously, because his health problems and what he did to his body. And then also just he had an attitude issue and things like that didn't really sprucing him up to get higher to another level of things. But from an in-ring perspective, he was majorly talented. And
majorly. Without a doubt.
So no doubt about that. Want to see, I think there was another interesting question we had here. Let me see.
Better come up with when they're going to turn the channel.
I know they're going to flip it on us. Let's see here. Do we have something from last week? No. Oh, so somebody's following up about the TNA Powertown series, Magnum. Any updates on that? If it's coming
they're I've seen the prototypes. They're looking good. We saw a few things that we wanted to make a few adjustments on before we pump out the full blown production run. But they're looking really good. Matter of fact, a couple of members of our team are up in New York at Toy Fair right now. With several of our different lines that we've come out with and done, and kind of interested to see what kind of noise they make while they're up there.
Yes. All right, interesting stuff. So there you go, Logan. Keep your eyes peeled.
More next week.
More next week. Here's an interesting question, I believe, from Stamps. I think this is a two-parter, so I'll pull them both up. Stamps asks, if Greg had brought Magnum TA into the AWA in 1986 as a top babyface to counter the Sheik's army, how do you think your father Vern would have booked him against King Kong Brody? And how might Magnum's high-energy style have meshed with the AWA's technical focus to boost the territory's popularity against the rising WWF interest?
TA would have been AWA world champion at some time.
Hey.
Yeah. Without a doubt. He had the background. He had the style that Vern loved. He was a wrestler. Great in the ring, great performer. He had it all. He had the whole package. So either NWA, AWA, he could have been a champion wherever he went.
Wherever you went, Magnum, I think so too.
Yep.
Well, if he gave me the summers off like y'all did, I might have never left. I might have just.
Well, that's what we were hoping to get you up there. Crockett was going to let you go, though.
Fantasy booking here, but it would have been.
We tried a couple times, but
it would have been awesome to see.
We'll let him make an appearance in Chicago, but he's going to wrestle Flair.
It did, yeah, right.
You know.
Yeah, that was kind of funny how that happened, wasn't it? I do seem to recall that now that you said that.
Yeah. Did Vern talk to you that? Did Vern talk to you that night?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. What could have been?
Did he want you to come in?
Oh, it was
just a conversation.
Just conversation.
Yeah.
He was very respectful. I don't think Vern would have ever openly just been brash enough to come out and say that, knowing my position in the company and what was built. I mean, their investment in me was, what y'all invested in Hogan. I mean, they had so much TV time on me, pushing me and building me that, that was, I was a big part of their franchise, just like anybody you push that hard to, be your main event player.
Yeah, no, Vern was really respectable to all the different organizations, all the different people out there and all the promoters, and he wouldn't steal talent. And that's why, when Vince came in and started doing it, it was such a shock. And he hit us really hard.
Oh, yeah.
He hit the AWA. That was his first target, because we had the big TV networks, the big major cities pretty well, from San Francisco to, Minneapolis and just about everything in between and all across Canada.
Yeah.
So, but, it is what it was.
I mean, geez, you look at like some household names and some people that think synonymously with WWE, they originally came from AWA. Like, you think about obviously Hogan, but then in turn, you have like Gene Okerlund, you have Bobby Heenan, you have a Jesse Ventura. Like, those are some names that like got their. That's where they started. Like,
they hit us hard. I mean, they took they just started with Hogan, and then even my partner walked out on me.
Yeah.
And it was just that's the way it was. And Vern had the respect of all the other promoters around the country because they all worked together.
Yeah.
And didn't steal somebody from someone. One of the Crockett's came in one night. They did talk to some of us, but
Well, Magnum, what was the mindset of Vince back then too, down in the Crockett promotion? Did they kind of have that, like, yeah, he's going against the business and the practices like that, or was that kind of oh, hey, this is the nature of the game kind of aspect?
I don't know, because I never crossed paths with him when I was still in that, that era of my life. And see, Jimmy had done something very unique in that he's the first one that I know of that ever created contracts that were still gave you an incentive, but gave you a guarantee of six-figure income.
Wow.
And, this is 1985, but there was a half a dozen of us that all got these, to my knowledge, the first contracts of their kind. And it wasn't what the contracts evolved into where you would negotiate whatever your deal was, and that's what you got paid every 2 weeks. Our deal was it was a 6-figure guarantee that if the bottom fell out, you were going to make 6 figures no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And but the carrot was there to make you want to see the houses do fantastic and be on those main events where you were making main event payoffs, and when they took that piece out of it, it really hurt an element of the business that it never recovered from. And they did it in a huge way. Then when I crashed and went down and they had no plan B, they brought in all these folks, Barry Windham and Road Warriors and Sting and Luger and on and on and on. And,
Right.
And because business was so booming, they felt like they had to make those guarantees like to the moon. And so the numbers were achievable if everything was selling out and doing max capacity business, but they didn't anticipate all the expenses and everything went along with it. And then also you took that thing about it that was just when you were going into the office to get your check, and it was cool knowing that you'd been all these sellouts and these main events, and peel that thing open and see what it was, because it was you got a rush out of it, because they weren't screwing us over. They were good payoff people, and when that thing changed, folks didn't have the same incentive
Right.
to want to go out there and see the whole thing be the success. I'm not saying they didn't work as hard, but it took some of the heart out of them.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's always that aspect too with a job or whatever. If you get like a certain comfortable amount of money, like you look at athletes today, like I mean, look at what happens in the contracts with whether it's NFL or more so. I think it's a reflection of NBA and like what happens. Like they have these guaranteed monies, huge $1 million deals. So why do they have to go out and get competitive at an all-star game, or why do they have to go all 82 games and like balls to the wall kind of thing? You lose that, you get to that comfort level where it's just like I'm making money, I'm doing what I'm doing, and it's just and I think that it's certainly still reflective today, somewhat in wrestling. I think AEW, if things are buttoned up, I'm happy people are making money, but it's also like I think some of the incentive gets lost if the creative is not there and the passion's kind of
well, that's smoke and mirrors, because I mean, if those people were getting paid on the gate, they wouldn't any be making a living.
Yeah,
they would not. Yeah. If they were getting a percentage, straight up, whatever that might be in today's time, based on paid arena attendance, they probably couldn't support 1/3
right
of that payroll.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%. Charlie, just following up for this question. I know the answer to this, surprisingly. Wasn't Adrian Adonis in AWA, or am I mistaken? He was, right, Greg?
Yes, he was. Teamed him up with Jesse Ventura.
Yeah.
Jesse was horrible in the ring, and Adrian carried the match, and Jesse talked him into the building.
There you go.
That's it.
There you go.
I have no more to say about that one. But Adrian was a phenomenal performer. Talk about timing and everything. When he went to New York and he got that heavy, they wanted him the Gorgeous George type look, and it was horrible for the guy. I mean, he was a great athlete.
Yeah,
I loved getting in the ring with him. We had some dandies. Jesse.
One day we're gonna have a full-fledged episode covering Jesse Ventura just for you, Greg.
The episode's real short.
It would be if Danny Spivey was writing it.
Right. They better turn in quick or they'll miss it.
Bam, bam.
Well, how about that? My favorite tag team is Greg Gagne and Magnum TA. That's my favorite tag team. So
I wish we'd had a chance to team up together.
Yeah, right, man.
That would have been fun.
And I always think it would have been great too. Eventually, Greg, you turn heel on Magnum, and you get your own thing.
Why does everybody want to turn me heel all the time?
I want to turn you heel.
Zell wanted to turn me heel. And now you want me to.
You're already kind of a heel on here anyway. So
yeah, okay.
We kind of got it. We call mission accomplished.
You got to have somebody.
That's it. All All right, Magnum, is there anything you want to else cover Powertown wise, or tell anything, or just stay tuned next week? Or?
Just that it is expanding daily. We're bringing in new people from a design capacity on a ongoing basis, and we're looking at some different lines than we've ever seen developed before. So we want diversity in our product line, and we have so many people that we represent. We've got to establish some product lines that we can develop and bring online faster.
Yeah.
Because the ultra figure, which are great, I mean, really second to none in the market, to do more than 2 of those lines a year just isn't realistic. And the Remcos, though you think they're a little more simplistic just because in stature they're not as tall, they have almost as much articulation as our ultras.
Wow.
So consequently, we really just built a jacked up, muscled up, ultra with the same features, because we have interchangeable hands for our Remcos and nice accessories and the soft goods. So we're just trying to find that spot of things that we can bring online quickly. And I'm anxious for fans to see the Galoobs. I think we'll be able to show our first efforts at the Galoob sometime in the next couple of weeks, hopefully, and see how that's received, because that's something we can do a lot quicker, a lot more effective, and blend in with our other product line.
Absolutely.
TA is a fantastic partner in this business too, and he's done a tremendous job with Steve Rosenthal and getting us to where we're at. And in the next couple of years, we're going to be a thorn in a lot of people's neck.
I like that. So guys, tune in, go scan the QR code and bookmark it, Powertown Wrestling. Go to powertownwrestling.com. If you'd like some Greg Gagne or Magnum TA merch exclusive, you can go to 1tsport.com. It's still a little chilly, not too bad, but you can still get a Greg Gagne hoodie, zip up here on the website, or you can get a mug as well. You can scan that QR code, and it'll lead you not only to that, but this shirt as well, Dressed Like a Champion, classic AWA style there. So go to 1tsport.com. You can do the same with Mr. Magnum TA. Get that zip up hoodie. We're going to create I have a good idea for a merch. I think I might have told Magnum about it. I can't remember, but maybe I'll tell him after we're off air. And a mug. You can get that. Scan the QR code. You can also get some Nikita and some classic feuds. I believe there's also a Magnum and Tully shirt too, if I'm not mistaken. But there's also a Dusty shirt you can check out. Lots of cool stuff. Go to 1tsport.com and help support the show. And if you really do want to help support the show, be sure to like, subscribe. We're up on podcast feed, the Four Horsemen Network. Type that in your podcast feed. Give us 5 stars. We're there with Arn Anderson, but give us 5 stars on Four Horsemen Network TV or fourhorsemennetwork.com as well. Like, share, subscribe to the video, all that kind of stuff. We appreciate everybody tuning in and giving their comments, from Triple E to Charlie to Mr. J.O. to others too. We have a new guy in here called Who Likes Fight, Fig Shorts. So shout out to him and Electronic Earnings. Everybody chiming in. So we appreciate your patronage stamped as well. So
spread the word.
Spread the word. Also, yes, below when I post this video up tomorrow, hit the link for Amazon for the Vern Gagne book as well. I'll have the link there.
Oh God, I forgot to bring it down again today. Damn it! Thank you for the plug.
You're welcome. So we're trying to cover some bases. I got to get some more clips out there and get some stuff cooking here in 2025 for all of us.
So Laura read the last chapter the other night, and she came in tears.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, I'm ready to cry. I'm ready to cry.
Very interesting. It's a rundown.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm excited.
Little tease.
Check it out, guys. Go to Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com as well. The links will be below. So, but I appreciate you guys doing this on a Friday, TGIF, and I hope everybody has a great weekend. And it comes courtesy of Straight Talk with the Boss. That's Magnum TA, and we got the facilitator, Greg Gagne.
Peace.